Hi, everyone. John and Javi and Dom, how you guys doing? Is the sound okay in the video? Everything working all right? Hi, Big Sal. Good to see you guys. Any of you from Hi, Graham. Uh, are any of you guys from Florida? I have there's some people I know down there. We've been checking on them. I just wanted to check out and see if everyone's okay. Believe it or not, we've got the weather we have today is the remnants of that hurricane, and we're getting a bunch of rain for the next couple days, but not we could use a little rain, and two, we're not going to get a lot. Hi, Rel. Flippin' Zippo. My goodness, you're on time. Good to see you. Hi, Licks. Knuckleheads, huh? Okay, I'll go with that. Sort of watch collectors and knuckleheads go together pretty well, I think. Oh man. Ah, what a week. Um what I wanted to talk about today, I always start going off. I say, well, we're going to talk about this, and I do all the talking. What I'd like to do today is to start off and saying, if there was one thing that you could change in the watch industry, other than the price, because we just sort of all of us want to change the price. Other than the price, what would you change? Hi, Curtis and Abdul. How you guys doing? Koji, good to see you. Hater. What would be one thing that you'd change? You'd say, look, from now on, we're gonna. If you change this, I think we'll be doing better. The retail resellers, okay. Hey, Grancher, how you doing, John? Hey, Singapore. How you guys doing? I've got something I gotta send to Singapore. Hi, Maynard. Parts list and availability of each part like a car. Hey, that's a great idea. That's a very good idea, Dom. I like that. In fact, that would be exactly what I'd want too. If I could change one thing, that would be it, I think. One thing I'd like to see is more knowledge assistance in the stores. They have stores. Graham, they got stores where you live? I didn't think they did. I thought you'd have to leave the island. But you're right. I agree with you. More knowledgeable. When I used to be in computers, I'd hang around, computer stores like an alcoholic around a bar, and I I was asking this guy who was this is a long time ago, when a new computer came out that I was interested in. I asked him about it, and as soon as he opened his mouth, I realized he had no clue what he was talking about. And I think the same thing that Graham's talking about is that you go into a watch store and, other than sort of standard responses that I guess are given, here's a list of things. And if they ask you a hard question, make something up. They do have it there. Good. Hi, Geezer. How you doing? Koji? Let's see. You know, I tell you, rather than hoping for knowledgeable assistance in a store, I think the there'd have to be two things. They'd have to be knowledgeable, and more importantly, they'd have to be honest, which is a tall order. Hi, Maynard. Let's see a standard that if there was a date, make, if large enough for old guys to read. That's what they made these for. One thing I like to see is a Swiss brand that doesn't make a over the top overhead. Now remember, Abdul, we're not talking about money. Hi, Junior. Uh, I think of all of the things that I'd like to see is pretty much what Dom said. In fact, I like the way he suggested it. Is that with every watch you bought, you came with a price list. I mean, not a price list, but a parts list of where the parts were sourced. And if you can get more of them, that would be great. I don't think you can get watch parts, unfortunately, in the same way that you can get um, car parts. Even watchmakers. You go to a watchmaker's, oh, I can't get those parts. That's something I think that I'd like to see is that the watch parts for all watches be available to all watchmakers. I don't think they want to do that. I think they want to have their own little boutiques and charge you out the yin yang for to have your watch overhauled or worked on, something like that. That's I think that's what they do anyway. Transparency, Chopek list all parts like Crenode makes their movements. Oh, hi, Lix. I knew that Chopek listed Crenode as a movement maker. I didn't realize they had all of everything else too. And now you're going to have to find out what parts Crenode uses. Uh, recreate Swiss watches, which is one due to quartz crisis. Okay. Transist, Transat, now Trans watches. Mm, okay. Let's see. I would love to see a 10-year plus guarantee, even some sort of long-term service agreement. Oh yeah, that'd be nice. Um, really, yeah, I like to see a service agreement too. On my car, I don't drive my car that much. I used to go to work every day, but since I retired, it just, you go down, just don't drive it that much. Every now and then we'll drive down to New Haven and catch a Metro North into New York, but otherwise, not a whole lot of driving. And because I do so little driving, uh, the place where I take my car in, they said I could still get the same kind of deal because it was such low mileage on it. And even before I retired, I didn't have very far to drive to work. It was only about a 7 mile drive to work where I went to work. And then, so I'm doing 14 miles a day, and that doesn't add up that much. My wife, on the other hand, had to drive a lot further. She drove about 14 miles to work. So the thing about that is, I think that because I didn't drive that much, I was able to get a service agreement with the car dealer that did the service, and so I don't have to pay for the next. I think I got three three things done, and the funny thing about it was that they also charged me. I had a radio that never. It wasn't a radio. It was one of those things that hooks into my phone and everything, and it didn't work right. So that they decided that wasn't part of the car. It was like, I don't know. Hi, Amin. How you doing? I like if each watch came with a description of who led the effort to create it, along with their goals and challenges. Wow, yeah, that would be nice. Even the independents. I mean, by independents, I mean guys like Kari Voutilanen and Laurent Ferrier and some of the guys who make the watches. They don't give you that information. That'd be a great one, Amin. Um, hi, David. Let's see. I think Oris is one of the few that has a 10-year warranty. Wow, okay. Howard, hey, the galaxy of independent suppliers of watch parts to watch technicians is being threatened by a number of factors, but most of all by pressure of large watch manufacturers. It's probably right, Howard. Yeah, they've got everyone's trying to get a monopoly on everything. I mean, like you've got to get a special kind of. It's funny. I was thinking of Rolex says they make everything. They even have their own foundry. And and what I envision are a bunch of little yellow minions working at Rolex, and they're all wearing Oyster Perpetuals, and they go out and they're working in a mine and they're mining the, the steel for the watch. They do all of this different kinds of things for. I don't know. I think I find that I don't know. If that's an improvement over someone who really knows what they're doing with the foundry work is something else again. Nothing, not picking on Rolex. It's just sort of like there's some things going on that they aren't exactly transparent about. Um, hey Tim, maintenance, oh yes, uh, what John said about the maintenance and so forth. One of the things you can get with an ETA, if you go searching around the internet, they used to be easy to get to, but now you got to do a little more searching for them. All ETA movements have these wonderful charts, and they have their lubrication as well as parts charts, and so you can see every single uh, part that needs lubrication. Not only that, though, is that they give you the weight of the lubricant because lubricants require different kinds of I mean, different parts have different kinds, some light and some heavier types of lubricants that they use. And boy, I tell you, that would be nice on every single one. But I don't, other than uh, maybe Creno does that too, but I don't know any other watch companies that give you or watch movement companies that give you that information. I should say used to give you that information. Now I got to go digging up and trying to find some loose PDF file with that information on it, and then put it on my on my hard drive so that I can keep it later on. Let's see. Hey, William, how you doing? Let's see. Hi, Thomas. Okay. Hi, WWW Kotov. How you doing? Ease of production from a drawing. Oh, that sounds interesting. That sounds really interesting. Seen Laurent Ferrier and Rex Heppy in Geneva in November. They were very receptive and nice. Oh, cool, Tim. That's good to see. I Years ago when he was just getting started, I interviewed Rex Heppy, and he's super nice guy and very talented. Um, yeah, I think of all the things that I'd like to see would be where everything is sourced. I was talking to the guys at Aganor about um, you know where is the balance spring coming from, and um, they said they had to have it specially made. And I realized that because there's something that was called the Agon pit that they put in our watts that we're having built, and they said that it's not set up like a typical balance spring. It doesn't require a collet and some other features to it, and but other things that are required that go into sort of the whole Agon pit package uh, for for adjustment. And I was thinking, they had to get somebody who specializes in that. The idea again that a company that makes everything, even the ones that proclaim such, every now and then they'll have to go out and find a part that they need that they don't make with their little yellow minions making them for them. Let's see, Dominic, being a manufacturer of metal products, it is some kind of a challenge to produce everything in-house, and it is target for many reasons. Yeah, the thing of it is that, years ago, back in the old days, the pre-quartz, everything, uh, everyone had sort of their specialization. And the thing that's good about specialization is people are really good at it. Um, I know that, oh God, I don't know how many number of different skills you're supposed to have to be the complete watchmaker. And I think George Daniels had a whole bunch, and what's his name? Uh, Roger Smith has even more. So everything, you got old Roger there with it really starts off with a rod of gold. He's grinding away and flattening it out to make a case from it. I mean, that's really everything. But let's face it. I mean, he makes a case, he does this, he does that. I don't, maybe he does. Maybe he makes all of the gears himself, but somebody who specializes in making gears or specializes in finishing, I would think they may do a better job than than one person who tries to learn everything. Now, this is not a criticism of Roger Smith watches. I would dearly love to have one, but there's I think he quit making them, or at least a waiting list for them is closed. But I think that it's important to know this stuff. Okay, let's see. Hi, Wolberg. Is that right? Wolborg. I would like to change when watchmakers hide a pretty good looking movement under a closed case back. I would like to see option for an exhibition case back, even if it costs more. Yeah, I like that. I recently got a watch and it has a closed case back. And the thing that sort of disappoints me about it is that it's a fairly complex movement, and I'd really like to see it. Um, and I hate using a case knife. I don't know if you ever those pry off things using a case knife. Hate doing that. Not only do I scratch the thing up, but I just don't like them. I got one of those special cranks to close them up, but um, I I really like to have be able to see what's going on in the back, like on this Moser, and you can see everything that's going on. The other thing about it is that they put a power reserve indicator on the back, and so you don't mess up the dial with having to add something like that. Okay, let's see what's going on. Hey, John. Um, I'm in Miami if anyone else wants to have a meetup. Okay, everybody is Miami got missed by the storm, um, fortunately, and so there's still a Miami. Miami, for I have no idea why, but probably it might be the watch capital of the United States. Two places that I wouldn't expect to be, but sort of makes sense. One is Las Vegas, one is Miami. Now, New York City has a lot too. Um, the problem is being dependent on outside suppliers can affect production. Tell me about it. You're right about that. Um, yes, there's always something that you need, though. I mean, like, you need a little gear or you need a little spring or you need something, and you can't make those things. And, one of the things we found out in our watch, making effort is that, we can, holler at them all we want and say, "Ah, we want our watch." And it's, what are you gonna do? some guy who's making one of the parts or one company, uh, just like you said, Dominic, you are dependent on them. But it's either that or you have a. I know what you mean, though. I like to do everything myself, everything, but you know, I can't. Um, Someone recently posted a PP 2526 with an exhibition case back made by Boot and London. Ooh, that's interesting. Yeah, I know that, you can take I suppose you could take a regular case back and, you know, uh, cut out the middle and then put in a piece of sapphire to make that. But I think it'd be a fairly involved thing. The big thing, one of the reasons, none of the Rolexes except for the what's it called, Prince, they all have solid case backs, and I was asking some people about that, and they said probably because, the big thing about Oyster Perpetual is that they're totally waterproof. Well, yeah, that's okay. Okay. I agree with Abdul. Watches. It's nice to see 100 case backs on watches these days. The more the merrier. Yeah, I agree. I I have very few watches with a solid case back, and like I said, one I got recently has a solid case back, and I can't see a thing in it. So that would be a nice thing to just sort of have at least have an option. I mean, there might be some good reasons, but having a visible case back, I think, or exhibition back, I think, is important. Yeah, there's. I think that's a good idea. I think to have the only thing about a Rolex case back is that all Rolexes, as far as I know, are automatics, and so you got that stupid rotor. You got to makes seeing things difficult. That's why I like to have a hand wound. There's nothing to get in the way. Even on my Van Cleef and Arpels that has that little micro rotor. What micro rotors do is that they're great, but you have small smaller balance wheels because they take up more room. Other than the Cellini Prince with the nice finger bridges, I wouldn't terribly desire to see Rolex movement anyway. I think, well, the thing is that a solid case back, you don't have to worry too much about finishing. I mean, as long as it's functional finishing, you're good to go. But with a see-through case back, then you gotta have some kind of finishing. You're right. That's a good. That's a very good point, Graham. Uh, Company making yeah, those they may go after them. I don't think they can though. I mean, you can, that's like someone can put make special hubcaps on a Rolls Royce that look awful, but I don't think there's nothing about that that says you can't do it. Also, too, I mean, even though Rolex probably doesn't like the idea, people who buy their watches, they then own them, not Rolex. Anyway, I'm not picking on Rolex because I think Rolex makes a good watch. Claudio, buenos dias from Mexico. KTNA. How are things in Mexico these days? Uh, I love my Prince. Good recommendation. Oh, yeah. You got the Prince I probably wanted. I've got to get one of those things one of these days. The thing about everything about the Prince is something that's so disappointing that Rolex got rid of it. But what it shows, I think, is that a lot of people think, Rolex doesn't have anybody working there who's got any skills anymore because, they keep, making the same watch over and over again and do quite well doing it. But then they go off and they do something like the prints, not just, I mean, the design itself is mm, okay. Some of the square ones aren't quite as attractive, but every one of those things is brilliant in that the guilloche on the front is continued on in the movement on the movement uh, plates and bridges. So yeah, I mean, it's sort of like, they have these really good skills. They make 1.5 million watches a year. I mean, they're not dealing that's what those little yellow minions they have running around are doing. They're making Rolex watches for everybody. Let's see. I would definitely like makers allowing to change to see the case through the back. Yeah. I think Nomos offers that service. Oh, okay. That's a good idea, Nomos. In the old days, solid backs made extremely well decorated movements. What they used to have are those double ones. You open up the case and then you open up the back, and it's sort of like a clamshell. You open up the back, and then you can see the movement from sort of like a hinged back on it. Uh, I don't know, exposing the your movement to any kind of dust and everything else is that can be tricky. In the old days, let's see, solid backs. All right. Um, hey, Brian, good to see you. Um, what else have you got? An officer's case back. That's right, Rancher. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Uh, Rancher, does the officer's case back, when you pop that open, does that expose the movement without a cover, or is there like a glass between the movement and the open back? Yeah, Dominic, that's the one. That's what I was thinking about. I I've s- I've seen them before, both ways. Depends on the maker. Okay, so you pop it open. There's your case. You can see the movement. I think if I had one of those, well, I guess if there were glass there, you might say, well, maybe they have it set up some way that not sure what. Tell you the truth. Um, Allowing cross collaborations of master watchmakers, the watches that MB&F do. Oh boy, that's a great idea. That's a great idea, Abdul. Yeah, I like that. Hey, Claudio, open clamps backs like the Lindbergh angular hours from Longines. Okay, guys. Well, I am told that it's frying pan time, so I'm gonna have to go. We'll see you guys this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Forgot I had a topic all set up for this afternoon, and I don't remember what it was. Anyway, everybody take care. You guys who have any of you been affected by the hurricane, I hope you can be okay. And hasta la vista.